All right. Well, we are live. It is Wednesday and we are live. I am Kim Angeli and welcome to this Kim Angeli show. First one. And we're going to talk to Adam Ames, my first guest. And we're going to talk about gratitude in business and in life, mainly business. But I'm just grateful to have Adam on here. We were talking earlier before we hit live on how long did we know each other. And I don't know, Adam, what do you think?
It's got to be all of 15 years, if not more.
I think so.
I mean, it was early 2010-ish.
Yeah.
It's been a while. We're not strangers, that's for sure.
No. And so, Adam, tell people where we met. The crazy world of
HOAs.
Woo! Awesome. Yes,
HOAs.
we did.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And so one of the things recently you reminded me of when I met you is I sent you a
thank you card.
Oh my gosh. Wow. What a concept.
Yep. It was something so simple. And even before we further along the relationship as right now, I mean, that is something that I kept that thank you note next to my desk for years, because the event that I put on, and it was something so simple and it was handwritten, and it just meant the world. You were the only one out of, several hundred people that I connected with for that specific event that sent a handwritten thank you note, thanking me for, the experience, what I did, what the company did, and so forth. So it's something so simple, but it goes a long way.
Right. And you were managing communities. Let's use the right verbiage.
Yes.
And how many communities did you manage at once?
When I departed, I had 34.
Woo! So if any of you are in the management, you manage communities, single family townhomes, and condominiums. I mean, God bless you for doing 34 at a time.
It's a thankless job, but I mean, one of the things, you really just have to be organized, have processes, procedures, getting the clients to be on board with those, make things as efficient and as simplistic as possible.
Right. And I think you're really good at it because you have a psychology degree. From NC State, baby.
Yeah, go pack. Go pack.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about, excuse me, gratitude.
Yes.
And so where has being more intentionally grateful helped you in growing the business you're in now, which is you're with Window Hero.
Right.
And because of me, that relationship, you're there. And so how has it really helped?
Well, a lot of different ways. Honestly, Kim, first and foremost, it's a mindset, right? You wake up and it's not something, that, it's a mindset. You wake up, it's kind of like, subconsciously, you're going in there to brush your teeth. Well, being grateful for people, whether that be an opportunity that you've been given or you've not won, being grateful for that opportunity, showing thanks for even feedback, right? People are blown away. Like I've lost deals and I sent them a thank you note just for the opportunity. And they call me and say, wow, really? Or they give you specific feedback that maybe is constructive. And you send them a thank you, just saying, hey, look, I appreciate the constructive feedback. We're looking to get better. So there's really many different avenues that you can express gratitude in, not only professionally, but personally. It really kind of goes down to, essentially, it really just, it's building trust with people, right?
Right.
Showing that you're grateful for them. It opens up so many different doors. I apply gratitude in my personal life as well as, my professional life. And it almost becomes it's automatic, right? No matter what I do, I'm always giving thanks. I keep thank you notes in my backpack for work every single day. That way, if I'm at a point to where, I met Susie Q or whoever, I write them a handwritten thank you note saying, hey, look, thank you for your time. It's something that is so simple, but it goes so far away, so far along. I think people just get caught up in being, oh, give me your business, but it's more to that, right? I mean, it's building those relationships, building that trust. I can't tell you how many times that I've had just a cold lead come through and it just falls through. Versus, I was actually meeting a guy the other day, and he's like, "Oh, I had a former colleague say that you guys do great work. That's fantastic. We would love to work for you." So it's that experience. It's that the customers get that they can pass that along. And that experience is showing them gratitude.
Right. It's how you made them feel, really.
It's how
Because
you make them feel.
you embody, ever since I've met you, you embody gratitude, right? We could talk about being grateful, but there are a lot of people who don't take the next step. They'll say, well, I'll say gratitude is easy to do in the mail. And just know whenever we talk about gratitude, I'm talking about intentional gratitude in the mail, taking someone to lunch, taking them, doing something of value for the other person. Law of value, go giver law, number one, is it's easy to do, Adam, but would you agree that it's easy not to do?
Oh, it's so easy not to do. And people, there are, I think today there's just a lot of, it's part of, I guess, what people would probably call a grind or a hustle. But I mean, again, it goes back to the mentality, right? It's all about your mindset of showing gratitude. You know, prime example, Kim Angeli, she sent me a thank you card, and that sparked a relationship, a friendship that has went for over a decade off of one thank you card. And honestly, I couldn't even say if our relationship would be the same if I didn't have that and my appreciation for what you did, something so simple that probably took less than 2 minutes of your time and cost you less than $1.
Right. Well, and it's the intention behind it. A lot of people, I've had this happen in the past. Let's say we do a re-engagement or gratitude strategy for past relationships, and they'll send it out and they'll be like, well, nobody called. I had somebody say that to me today. Well, nobody called. Well, why did you send it? Did you have an agenda?
Yep.
Did you have an expectation, or did you send that out into the world with no expectation because you value them as a human being?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference, is that if you're just sending notes and things to people because you want something, that's not being a go-giver.
Mm-hmm.
That's being a go-taker.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
it's embodying the gratitude and being unattached, really, to, you know, when I send you the thank you note, I mean, I was just thanking you for having a great experience. And I think we went to lunch at, you know, we would go to lunch when I'd come to Charlotte. I didn't even live here then. I lived in Raleigh. You lived in Charlotte. So, you know, here I was building a relationship with somebody 3.5 hours away. And, you know, I wasn't attached to where did it go. See, a lot of people are so attached to it. They're like, oh, but if I send this note, what am I going to get? Well, how about we focus on the other person first?
100%.
And just plant the seeds of gratitude and see where they grow.
It's in gratitude. I think you hit the nail right on the head right there. It's all about, you know, putting the client first. I mean, you're listening to them. I mean, are you really hearing them? Letting them talk to you, right? I think more people in sales get caught up in, oh, I need to give you my speech.
Their elevator pitch, which in the go-giver world, hashtag Bob Burg, we don't say pitch. Nobody wants to be pitched.
Yeah.
Right? We want to seek to understand what they're trying to solve and how can we help them with the outcomes they seek.
100%. I mean, if you do more listening, that can be have more power, more weight to it than anything, because the individual that you're trying to build the relationship with, they'll tell you what it is that they're seeking or not seeking. Just listen.
We've got to listen, right? And you are a great listener. I will say that you are.
Thank you.
You seek to understand, and then you're going to solve whatever you need to solve.
Yeah.
And like I say, sometimes one of my gifts is if I'm not the best resource for you, I'm going to connect you with the best version for you. I'm not attached to it. Might not be me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really different, and it's mindset. It's 80% mindset, 20% mechanics.
Mm-hmm. It really is. I mean, I write so many thank you notes, and it's not only because of following the 5 laws of the go-giver, but I mean, as a kid, right? You get presents, whatever, your parents say, hey, write thank you notes. Okay, but as you become older, I think it's become like a lost art, so to say, right? But I mean, showing thanks to people, because everybody wants to feel appreciated, whether they say it or not. Everybody wants to feel appreciated. So showing that, I'll give you an example. I was off visiting a client this morning, and we were just talking, natural conversation. I mean, obviously I'm there for business. However, I spin it towards them, getting them talking. Well, I come to find out she's got 2 kids and, a significant other, and the treat that I brought them as my gift or whatever. She's like, oh, I love these. My kids love them. I'm like, okay, wait a second. I have more of these little punch cards, the free, get these things for free. So I went and got her one out of my car for her husband, her 2 kids, so they can go and enjoy them. It's just, it's a mindset, right? Putting people before yourself. I mean, I was talking to a guy, his name's Kevin. He owns a company called Goated. And one of the things that he preaches is called joy, right? And so joy is more or less, you can talk about Jesus, yourself, others, or Jesus, others, yourself, right? So, put others in front of yourself. It's all about making put the client first. What are their needs?
Right. It's the law of value.
And
right?
if you can't give them that, be a resource for them.
Right.
Like, oh, you know what? I can't do that. I can't tell you how many times I get asked a certain specific service for our company, Window Hero. I'm like, hey, look, you know what? No, we don't do that. But I know a great guy that owns a company that does. Be a resource. Provide them value. Give more in value than you take in payment.
Woohoo! That sounds like a Bob Berg quote to me.
That's Bob Berg all day.
So I have a question for you, because a lot of people listening would be like, well, that sounds like a horrible way to have a return on investment, is giving, and never thinking about what are you receiving. So I want you to, do you have a story that would be like somebody would say, well, where's the ROI on that?
Okay.
Now, I heard a statement today from someone you might know who said return on intention. Now that's a new one, return on intention. I was like, wow, I might have to write that one down. But where have you seen in business where your law of value and gratitude has returned, revenue, or you've gotten a piece of business from it? Well, not intentionally, but that was what happened.
I mean, there's several that come to mind. I'll get one of them. I took a VP out to lunch with a few of his more tenured folks. Again, they know our services. They know what we provide. The objective for this meeting was to treat them to something, a good lunch. But B, get to connect with them on a different level other than just, oh, hey, look, we clean windows, we can pressure wash, whatever. Get to know them, make it about them. So we did that, right? It was asking them engaging questions. And so we had a great experience. So what do? As soon as we get done, I send the VP a handwritten thank you note. Don't think anything about it. Put the stamp on it. Less than $1, out the door, great, whatever. About a week later, I'm in my living room. This is about 7:45 in the morning. I'm, with my little girl, getting ready to get her out the door, and I get a phone call, and I pick up the phone, and it was David, the VP that I had taken out to lunch. And I was like, hello. And he's like, hey, Adam, this is David with so-and-so. And I was like, hey, David, how you doing? What can I do for you this morning? He's like, well, I just want to let you know that I got your thank you note in the mail, and I really appreciate that. I mean, that means a lot that you've taken time out of your day to handwrite a thank you note, just appreciating my time. It was no pitch. It was probably 3 sentences max, thanking him for his time. I appreciate your time. Here's my cell phone number. Call me if you need me. Short, simple, sweet, to the point. And he goes on and he's like, I really enjoyed our time, and you sending this thank you note really put the cherry on top of it. He's like, I'm going to recommend to my entire team throughout the Carolinas that they use Window Hero for services just because of a thank you note. Not to mention the 2 other individuals that we took out to lunch. We're talking about his whole team. He oversees the entire Carolinas. So, I mean, we're talking, couple dozen, 25 different individuals that he is now going to have them use us or recommend that he use us over an X amount of dollar lunch. So, I mean, there's one example.
And that too is the law of influence. So, right, like you're building your influence and you're in your authentic self is what one of the Go-Giver laws is. That is just 68% of people will leave your business or not do business with you again if they don't feel appreciated or feel like you care about them. 68%. It's not the fact that you didn't do a great job. 68% of them felt like you didn't care about what happened.
That's a big number.
It's a big number.
That's a huge number. That's a huge number.
68%.
I mean, so I want to tell another quick story here. I mean, I know I'm probably working with limited time here, but I took a guy out for coffee. Again, when I take these folks out for coffee, lunch, whatever have you, it's to get to know them. It's to say, hey, look, my name's Adam. Your name's John, whoever. Let's just talk. Let's be casual about this, And so a $5 coffee, and now granted, when I first met the guy, I brought him in a little bundt cake or whatever, right. $5. So I took that $5 and then on top of it, so $10 total, and turned it into a $12,000 win that I just literally received notification for 2 days ago. A week later, he comes up to me and he's like, Adam, what's the point of this coffee? Why are you taking me out? I was like, hey man, I just want to get to know you outside of, what I do. He's waiting for like an elevator pitch or he's waiting for something. I'm like, no, you already know what's the point. Let's be relational. Let's get to know each other. Right. And so you're building trust, you're building relationships. And when people don't, just be grateful for that opportunity. And that's what I was just being grateful. Right. Hey man, look, I appreciate you even let me have the opportunity. A week later, I turned that $10 into a $12,000 job. Right.
And it really is. And I teach this is we're constant. People say, oh, I get slow during the holidays or I get slow during, this season. I'm like, no, that's the story you tell yourself. What you stop doing is planting the seeds of gratitude and you position yourself into not eating what you're sowing, right? So what happens is the activity that got us there, this is what happens with a lot of people, is the seed planting that you're doing. You get busy and then you quit doing what you were doing. And so you don't get busy because what you work on today, what the conversations that you had today on 11/13, you reap the sowing of sometimes in 90 days, sometimes in 30 days, sometimes in 120 days. But if we quit sowing seeds, there's nothing to grow.
Absolutely.
And that's what I tell people. It's like you say, oh, look at Kim. She attracts the referrals and she's working with this person and that person. I said, if you saw behind the scenes of the seeds I sow and water, and you have to weed, you have to nurture, you would understand why I eat a lot of what I grow.
Yeah.
100%. Because I'm growing it 365 days a year. I am building relationships without the attachment of what's in it for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 100%. That's one of the best analogies. And it's something so simple. Like I literally will go by old clients, potential new clients. Sometimes I'll just stop by. Hey, how you doing?
No agenda.
No agenda.
No
Yeah,
agenda.
it can be
Yep.
a
No
2-second
agenda.
conversation. I may not even talk to them. I may have a 5 or 10-minute conversation about what they did this weekend. No agenda. I'm
Right.
just stopping by to say, how are you?
Right.
Make it about them.
Right.
Right. I had a wise woman tell me one time, it's not the client's job to remember me. It's my job to be unforgettable. Sound
I don't
familiar?
know who that girl is.
But
And
it's,
what you say too, it's out of sight, out of mind. If
yeah.
you're not fully in touch with those people, if you're not being intentional, it's not that they don't love you. It wasn't that they didn't have an amazing experience. It's the fact that I tell people all the time, just like my garage door I just had put on my house, is I that name recall is not there because I've never heard from them again, or there was no happy bag left with their name on it, with like their phone number on it. There's no, I can't call I don't know in my phone.
That's
And
right.
so if there's no recall for the person you used, even though you had a great experience,
Mhm.
you're not going to get the other side of that business. And that's what I tell people is that, if you want someone's money, it's your job to be unforgettable. It's
Mhm.
not my job to remind you that I need to pay you.
Yeah. No, 100.
Okay, so
100%.
one thing for our listeners, Adam, because you're amazing, of course, is why I had you on as the first person, is so if people wanted to just start, like, we've been doing this a very long time. You've been embracing gratitude. So you got to think, they're at Jumanji level 1 and they've never incorporated this in their business or their life. What would you recommend they start doing, like, in 2025 or in the next month, to embrace gratitude on a daily basis?
First thing that comes to mind is keep it simple. Be thankful. Be intentional, right, with what you're doing, how you're communicating. Not every time that you talk to a client or a potential client do you have to sell something. Ask them how they're doing. Start small and build upon that, right? I'll kind of revert back to the example I gave about the client, wanting to know why I was taking them out for a coffee, but it's just get to know them. Start small. I'm not saying
Right.
go and spend, 10, 50, 20, 30, whatever monetary figure you want to associate with giving. Go to your local store, grab a $2 or $3 box of thank you cards, write thank you notes. If somebody connected you with somebody, send them a thank you note. Hey, thanks for connecting me with Susie Q. It'll cost you less than $1. And I
Right.
promise you, the more you do that, it becomes just part of your makeup, a part of your DNA, what you do every day. People are going to start to associate because it's all psychological on what you're doing here. But just, start small, right? Be thankful, be intentional, right? And make it about them, right? I think everybody in today's, I think there are folks in today's society that makes it, all about, hey, how can I get this now? Everybody wants everything yesterday. Okay, well, okay, great. That's good. But make it about the client, right? Be intentional with your time and what you're doing with them, for them. Keep it simple.
Right.
Send
Right.
a thank you note.
And
Right.
that's what I say. I tell people, go get the box of note cards from CVS and a pen. And if you need what to say, email me, Kim@KimAngeli.com. I'll tell you exactly what to make it simple. And just do that for the next year. Don't add a bunch of stuff to your plate. Don't make it complicated.
Yeah.
Like you said, make it simple and you'll get it done.
Keep it simple. And then one thing that I like, that I see a good use of time, so to say, is something that, again, that I'll give you credit for, Kim, is our gratitude calls.
Right.
Right. Just calling them to, how are you doing? And don't stop talking. Let them talk.
Right.
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 Yeah. Let them
Right.
talk. How are you doing? That way, every time that they associate your name, your email, or your phone call, it's not for business. Maybe they just want to be your friend. Maybe they want to get to know you. Maybe it's not all about the transaction, right? But just keep it simple, right? Be intentional with, show gratitude. it puts off an energy, right? I mean, if you're grateful, it puts off a great positive vibe. People feed off of that. Right. One of the first things that I do when I walk into a room, Kim, is I'm always reading the room, reading people's body language. If people are high energy, I'm high energy. If people are kind of lower on the energy, I mimic that. Right. And so, there's several different
Right.
ways to do it. But I mean, just starting off for all you listeners out there, start small. Go get some thank you notes. Think of your top 25 or top 10, top 5 individuals that you do business with. Write them a thank you note. When's their birthday? Take notes. Keep a journal next to you. Write down things, right? And then review it at the end of the night. Spend 20, 30 minutes reviewing it. It's the little things, right? That can mean so much. Somebody sending you a birthday card, somebody sending you just a thank you card. It goes so far. I've gotten so many emails, phone calls, not to the magnitude that I got with the example that I gave with David, but just saying, hey, thank you for that. Thanks for your time. I know you didn't, XYZ, but thanks for the thank you card. I appreciate that.
Right. Well, it's one of my quotes is how to be unique in a noisy world.
Yeah.
And so I get tons of emails. I got people spamming me on Facebook trying to sell me something. I don't even know who they are. And so you're building the trust one little thing at a time. Whether you ever use whether they use you or not is who do they know, right? I mean, who do they know that may need you? See, if we're always just attaching that agenda of what am I going to get out of this person, and it's all about you and not about them, is when you shift the focus to the other person and you activate the go-giver laws and gratitude. And it's hard for us to explain it to people, but just take the baby step.
Yeah.
To start sending thank you notes in the mail with a stamp. This is not texting someone thank you. This is not emailing someone thank you. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about good old-fashioned. And if you don't have good handwriting, nobody cares. Make your wife write them or your daughter, but nobody really cares because they're simple. Be the light in a dark world and be unique in a noisy world, and you can outwow your competition because you are going to be so different in the way you show up in gratitude.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, sending those thank you notes, I mean, it goes so far. I mean, not everybody does it. Anybody can put together a 2-second text message or an email. I'm not talking about doing that.
Right.
Take time. Right. It shows authenticity of yourself because you're building your brand. You're building yourself as a brand, your company as a brand. Show the authenticity. Let that come through.
Right. Awesome. Well, we're going to call it a wrap for today. And I can't thank you enough, Adam. I'm so excited. You were my first guest.
This was great.
And again, Adam is with Window Hero, and we've been friends for 15 years or more since we were babies. And I'm Kim Angeli. And if you need any kind of help with writing a thank you note, you can email me at kim@kimangeli.com or visit my website. And if you want gratitude call scripts, you can email me and I'll send them to you. I want you to be the light and be in gratitude as much as possible to build your business. So make it a grateful day. And thanks for being with us.
Kim, thank you so much for your time.
Awesome.